Hello, and welcome to another edition of City Hall Live. I am your host, Joe Abeta, and today we have a treat today. The Superintendent of Santa Fe Public Schools, Dr. Veronica C. Garcia. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm glad to be here.
No, that's great. I'm happy you are here.
Thank you.
So I know the main reason why you're here. It's for the SB 9 mill levy that's going on right now. The voting, early voting is going on right now. And we'll talk to that, but I also want to talk to you about other good things that are going on in the public schools. But let's get first to the mill levy.
Okay.
What is the mill levy?
So the SB 9 mill levy election helps support repairs, maintenance, technology infrastructure, safety, and just keeping our schools clean and maintained. There is no other source of funding for us because of the bonding capacity, our property values. The state has determined, if a community has the bonding capacity, that we have to go to the community for these dollars.
Okay.
So there is no other place. The state, does not have a fund for communities like Santa Fe. And last year we had the GeoBond election.
Yes.
And previous years, our community has been very generous, and we've built new buildings. And so when you think about it, this is a way of protecting your investment. If you bought a home, you have to maintain the roof, right?
That's right, that's right.
After a period of time, you're going to need a new water heater. Maybe the roof is going to leak after a period of time. Or you have to maintain your roof so it doesn't leak.
Yeah.
So it's the same concept, except for one house, we probably have about 60 buildings. And opposed to maybe having a home of 2,300 square feet, we have about 2.7 million square feet.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of roofs.
Yes.
A lot of windows, a lot of toilets, a lot of heaters, etc.
And instead of only having 3 or 2 kids in your house, right?
Yes, we have over 13,000 kids.
Yes.
And if we include the charters, and they are included in this election, that goes over 14,000. And so it's about, just like we had our home, to be able to maintain it, to protect our investment, and to keep it in good repair. I've been in schools or seen schools across the state where kids aren't in the best learning environment if they are trying to do their lesson and it's leaking.
Yes.
Or, even now sometimes we have situations where maybe old duct, starts to break and we don't have heat for a few days. It's, then we have to bring in emergency heaters and that sort of thing. So keeping our schools in repair is critical, and it's a daily task.
Yeah, no, and I mean, you bring up a great point, because as a parent, you want your kids, or even as a grandparent or an aunt or uncle, you want your kids to be in the best environment that they can be. Kids tend to perform, and if they have a great school that has perfect air conditioning or heat or whatever,
Or perfect, appropriate lighting.
everything, yes, all that plays into their learning experience and how well they learn.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so we want our students to be in a healthy, safe environment that's conducive to learning, and as well as our employees to be working in buildings that are comfortable and are well maintained. And this election is also good for local business, because our first choice for landscaping and technology infrastructure and repairing playgrounds and whatnot are local businesses.
Oh, that's awesome. So it pays into the economy.
It helps build the economy.
Yep.
And but it is Santa Fe supporting Santa Fe, our community, because there are not state dollars that can be put to this sort of expense. And this is up for 6 years. It's not a new tax. It's just time for this to come back to the voters. And so taxes would not increase. For a home valued at $300,000, it's about $200 a year. And so people will not see an increase in their taxes. It's just a renewal.
It's just something that's renewed. So a couple of things. One is that it also plays into making the buildings even more energy efficient too as well, which in the long run saves money, right?
Saves money. So we do work to make them energy efficient. And the other part is also keeping the buildings clean. There are custodial services and maintenance services, but particularly the custodial. So keeping them clean is also important.
Yes. Okay, so it's interesting because, people say, we're doing this bond issue thing and this bond is coming to, and am I going to see results? But absolutely, knowing that, I know that there was a vote on technology at one point. You see the results of the technology bond. You've seen the results of previous bonds into the schools community. Now, these are things that you will see. If you have kids in the school system, you're going to see these improvements if you go to your school, right?
Absolutely. It touches every single
Yes.
school. Every single school, as well as the charters, will see benefit from this particular election. And our community uses our facilities as well.
Yeah, it's
So-
not just something that happens between the hours of 7 and 3, and then we don't see any other use for it. But there's leagues that play for sports that the gyms are used for, right?
Absolutely.
And
on a-
meetings too, right? Community meetings.
Community meetings, and then we partner with the city and the county in terms of recreational programs over the summer.
That's right.
And so these buildings are the community's buildings,
Yes.
really.
No, absolutely. And so people can vote now where, right?
They can vote,
Early
for
voting,
sure.
right?
Early voting at the Educational Services Center. They're at 610 Alta Vista.
Okay.
And I believe there is early voting at a few other locations.
Okay.
And if we go through this, I will hopefully
That's
find
fine.
it here
No.
before the end of the show to tell you.
No, that's fine.
But you know what? If they go to our website
Okay.
at sfps.info,
Yes.
they can find that
They
information
can find the
for
list. There
early
you go.
voting.
Yes, there you go. And then regular voting, if you have a day of voting, February 6th.
February 6th,
Yes.
7 to 7.
Yes.
And you don't have to vote in your precinct necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
You can vote at any of the precincts.
Okay, no, that's great. Okay, February 6th, that happens, folks. You got to get out there to vote for this because it's going to help our community in the long run. You get kids in a great, positive environment to learn, and then they're going to do well for us, and then they're going to give back to our community when they get older, right? Because they're going to be doing
We
so well.
want them to be contributing members of our community. Absolutely
Yeah.
right, Joe.
Yes, no, awesome. So one more thing before you leave, I wanted to talk to you. We haven't had you on since the State of the Schools happened. Great event. I have to say, a lot of things going on. Things that were impressive to me that I didn't know what was happening, that the regular person wouldn't know unless they were to actually see this stuff, or unless you have kids in school here in the public school system here in Santa Fe. I was really amazed, especially by two things. One, the tech that you guys have implemented into the schools, where you have elementary school kids learning to code already, and actually going down to Socorro to New Mexico Tech, and in competition for the supercomputing competition,
We
things like that,
actually
and
won.
robotics too.
We won the supercomputing challenge.
Oh, wow.
And Santa Fe High School. And I mean, I think that's a real feather in our cap.
Yes.
We have elementary, middle school,
Mm-hmm.
high school, but I'm impressed to see elementary students
Mm-hmm.
coding. We're really making coding cool, and I think
Yeah.
because kids can actually create apps and whatnot, and
Mm-hmm.
they're so technologically savvy. Robotics is another area
Yeah.
that really engages them, and it's hands-on, and it's experiential, but they see the application in real life. And technology, thanks to the ETN vote, the Educational Technology Note, that
Yeah.
the voters of Santa Fe voted to support for our schools.
Yeah.
That election will be coming up again, I believe, next year, but that has really helped our students be prepared for the work environment
Yeah.
and college.
Yeah.
And no one would think, well, should we have a chalkboard? Should our kids have pencil and paper? Well, having a laptop, a Chromebook, that form of technology,
Yeah.
an iPad,
Yeah.
is just as important as having a pencil and paper.
Yes.
It is how we communicate. It's how we get information. And our students have incorporated it in a way that it's not about learning how to use this technology. It is how they learn.
Yeah.
And they're very intuitive, and they're very comfortable with it. And I am so pleased and proud of where our community is, and our school community is in terms of utilization of technology and learning.
Yeah, and it's become, you know, back in my day, back in our day, you know, it was English, science, math, and recess. I think I might be missing a topic. I don't know which one it would be, but it wasn't.
Social studies.
Social studies, yeah, you know, civics, but that was it, you know. And to have something like this, you might have had a little something where you would, you know, do a little coding on an old computer, and you'd see a ball go across the screen. But these guys are doing games, they're doing apps, websites, all these things, and they're learning this in part of their curriculum in the public schools, which I think is amazing. I think it's just a great thing that you guys are offering that the public schools is offering that, preparing the kids when they go into college, or if they decide to, you know, go another route, they have this base behind them. So awesome. So I just want to mention that.
Thank you. I mean, there's so many wonderful things happening in our public schools and so many choices. I think this month, or maybe it's this week, I can't remember, but it's school choice.
Okay.
And I want your viewers to know that there are so many great choices for curriculum and specialty magnet schools within the Santa Fe Public Schools. We have the Mandela International School, which is an international baccalaureate, which typically you can only get that in private education. That's that kind of a curriculum, which is now provided in the public schools. And I always say the tuition is just right in the public schools, right?
That's right. It's
Yes,
free.
quality education. The El Camino Real, dual language. The waiting list, you know, is starting to build again for dual language.
That
you
is
know.
awesome, right? Because if okay, it'd be really. I wish I could speak Spanish. I don't speak it very well, but I mean, I can get by maybe asking for, you know, where's the bathroom and where can I order
Essentials.
something? Yeah, exactly. But to think about how valuable would it be for your child who doesn't speak a lick of Spanish to, by the time they get it into 8th grade, or even they're fluent by 3rd grade or 2nd grade, they are speaking another language.
And all the brain research shows, and actually the data for the state shows that students who are truly bilingual perform better cognitively. You know, better brain function from knowing 2 languages. So there's so many benefits of having that, and also your employability, whether you're in law or medicine or business, in a global economy, speaking a language other than English is a real economic benefit. So, you know, we have that sort of offering. You know, we look at eco and what the students are, you know, learning entrepreneurship and building tiny houses. You know, the tiny house construction, you learn every element of construction in building a tiny house. They are make pens and sell them. There's an entrepreneurial aspect, and also the entrepreneurial aspect of building a house and marketing and the real estate and you know, learning about, you know, economic development in that realm. Our career pathways, the medical career pathway that we have, where students can graduate and be very close to having an LPN. So, I mean, I could go on and on about the various
there's a lot.
exciting things that are happening in our schools.
Yes. Last thing I wanted to mention was, and I know that I said it was the last thing, but this is part of kind of a continuation of what we had talked about. Last night, the music that we had, I think it was the Capitol High Orchestra.
The advanced orchestra.
Amazing.
Weren't they great?
It was just crazy. I was just like, wow, these guys really know what's going. I mean, just to play an instrument and to make it sound that way with an ensemble was beautiful. So awesome.
Yes, the level of talent. If you get an opportunity to see our students dance, you know, contemporary dance, the dramatic performances, the choral performances, the orchestra, the level of instruction, and what our students produce. And then also our visual art. I would hold up our art to any, the art that our students produce anywhere in the country. And part of it, I also feel, is living in this community also feeds that. In terms of the art that they're exposed to. But the quality of instruction that our students get in the Santa Fe Public Schools is really quite phenomenal when we look at the arts.
Yeah, as a whole, it just offers everything. There's, for anybody that's interested in something that says, that
There's
wants to
something
take
for
yeah,
everyone.
that's right.
Well, like ROTC,
Yes.
I mean, all of the national and regional awards, it's like, oh, they got another, we're getting numb to it and we shouldn't.
Yeah.
But, you know, oh, another first place, another second place, another first place, another championship. So if students are interested in a career in the military, our JROTC is, you know, second to none.
Yes, no, absolutely. Also mentioning that is I believe that this is probably, in my opinion, not the superintendent's opinion, but for one that follows sports, this is the healthiest that the schools have been as far as their sports programs go in a very, very long time. And there's going to be a lot of state championships coming up for you. So I'm just giving you a heads up.
Well, that's good
So I just
for
wanna
us to
thank you
know.
for
We're
that, yeah.
very happy
Yes.
with we have a new athletic director.
Yes.
Larry Chavez.
Yes.
And he's doing a great job.
Yep.
And our coaches and,
Yep.
and our kids, you know, they have a lot of heart.
Yes, they do.
And we have the best fans.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Very, very great fans.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Let's just remind folks again.
February 6th, SB9 mill levy election. Please go out and vote.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes, we'll see you there. Folks, thank you for joining us. I want to thank Christina McCandless. I want to thank Adrian Avitia for producing this show. You guys are awesome. And folks, you have a safe week and a great week.